The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone. We'll be getting started at the top of the hour, so we're just letting everybody kind of join in. Thank you. Hi, everyone. We'll be getting started in a couple minutes here, just getting a chance for everybody to get logged in. Thank you. Hi, everyone, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us for our webinar on how ProjX360 can help manage your business processes and strengthen your company. My name's Doug Greenwald, and I am the owner and founder of ProjX360. A little bit about who ProjX360 is. We are an end-to-end SaaS management solution that was developed specifically for the custom integration industry. We're going to be going through a full demo and everything today. Little housekeeping rules that we'll do is we'll go through the whole presentation, and after the demo and everything, we will have a open Q&A that you can ask questions through the webinar. Amy, who's part of our team, will be fielding those questions and will be answering your questions specifically throughout that. But going back into it, who we are, ProjX360 is designed to help manage your entire project from the sales process to generating the proposal to all the project management, time tracking, scheduling, work orders. We're fully cloud-based, mobile friendly, so no matter what device you're viewing it on, it'll auto format for whether it's a phone, tablet, or PC. And you can have access to the software anywhere, anytime, on any device. My background is I am the founder and CEO of ProjX360. I have been in the custom integration industry for 27 years. I actually still own and operate a custom integration industry company in Scottsdale, Arizona. Basically, ProjX360 was built out of a need for my own company. And I was looking for a good project management software that was geared towards our industry. Couldn't really find anything to match, and I already had the software company. So basically, my developers developed that specifically for my company. And then we brought it to market at CEDIA 2015. Basically, it's built off of different processes that I've created over the years, and now the software helps manage those processes. And you're going to see some of the benefits of that to help streamline your process. The importance of processes. I mean, business processes are very important. What's going to allow you to separate yourself from your competitors. And it'll help you be proactive instead of reactive, which a lot of us are guilty of doing. In turn, it increases your bottom line and reduces stress for you and your team. Basically, with ProjX360, it helps you develop those processes and manage those processes. The workflow of the demo is going to be, kind of how the whole process works from start to finish. We're going to start with the sales process, going into creating a proposal, then all the project management, creating work orders, creating invoices, scheduling, time tracking, service, inventory management, and then we have a very large custom reporting tool that we're going to cover also. So that being said, we'll get started, and we're going to start with the demonstration and start where it all begins, which is the sales process. So currently I'm on our sales CRM dashboard. Here you can see what's in your overall pipeline. You can see what's been added to your pipeline in the last 30 days, what's been won or lost in the last 30 days, what's been won or lost year to date. Also, you can see what's in each individual salesperson's pipeline, and that's clickable to go into. When a new lead comes in, you'll go over to people. You'll then go over to the cog here and go to add person. Here's where you'll enter all the information of that person. If there's a company associated with them, you can select from an existing company or add a new company on the fly. You can assign your salesperson. In the settings, you can create different sources so you can track where your business is coming from. You can also create different statuses and different tags, and you can create custom fields. So any additional information you want you or your team to gather, you can create those. Once you hit save, it does save the person into the system. We have a nice search feature that you can search by name, by company, by address. When you click on the person, it opens what we call the client profile page. Here you'll see all the information that you entered about that client. Over time, you'll be able to see any associated records with them. So any proposals, projects, work orders, or invoices. And those are all clickable to go into. During the sales process, your salespeople can create activities for themselves. An activity can be anything. It could be to do a follow-up call, to do a follow-up email, to set an appointment. You can see what's been finished by what's green and what hasn't been by what's tan, and you can check things off right from here. Also, we allow the salespeople to use our calendar for scheduling appointments, and we'll get more into scheduling in a little more detail in a little bit. Also, if a salesperson has an activity or a appointment due on any given day, they'll get an automated email early in the morning called the daily rundown, which is basically a list of their agenda for that day so things don't fall through the cracks. Over here, you can see any deals associated with this person. And a deal is an opportunity in our software, and you can add a deal right from here. Over here, you can see the information that you entered into the custom fields. We have a notes section, so you can add notes, and when you do add notes, it does stamp the author and the date and time that note was added. When you click and go into the deal, you can see what the estimated deal value is, what your expected close date is, how long that deal's been aging. You can see all the information about the deal. You can actually create custom fields for a deal also. And then we do have a separate notes section inside the deal to keep things more organized. And during the sales process, the salespeople can upload any documentation that they're gathering during the sales process right here. But now let's say they've met with the client and they're ready to generate a proposal. Inside the deal here, there's a create proposal button. If they click on that, it'll pull all that information over into our proposal tool. If you do need to edit anything, you can do so by clicking on it. If not, you're going to select who's generating this proposal. You can create pricing rules in our proposal. How our pricing rules work is there are a percentage that you can create, both positive and negative. And when you select it, you can then determine if that percentage applies to labor, equipment, or to both. And then you can select it and hit OK, and it generates that pricing rule. And you can have as many different pricing rules to a proposal as you wish. There is no limitation on that. Over here, you can select the tax rate that applies from the different tax rates you set up in the settings. Also, you can create different payment schedules. You can create as many different payment schedules as you'd like and select the one that best applies. And then also on our payment schedules, how they work, they're a percentage of the total. And then you can also progress invoice off of these once the proposal is approved. After that, you'll go over to locations. And in the settings, you'll set up all the different locations that you use on a regular basis. And then you simply drag over to the right the locations that you want for this particular proposal. So you can drag as many of these over as you wish. If you do have a very specific location that you don't want to add to your database, you can go to the cog right here and just add a one-off and just add it to the proposal if you wish. You can also drag and drop the order you want these locations to appear on the proposal to the customer. Once you're done adding locations, you can go to the tab up here called Systems. Systems are a filtering feature. You can create whatever kind of systems you want that makes sense for your business. For instance, you can have an audio video system, control system, televisions, and again, you can arrange the order of these. And I'll get more into detail of what these systems and how this filter actually works in a little bit. After you're done with that, you'll go over to the tab called Contracts. And in the settings, you can create different contracts for the different types of work you do and select the one that best applies and add it. Same thing with scopes of work. You can create different templated scopes of work, select the one that best applies, and add that to the proposal. Once you're done with that, go up to the cog here and go to Build Proposal. And we're in the proposal generation tool now. And you can add product a variety of different ways here. First off, you can build a local product database in our product manager over here. And then under the search feature in the proposal piece, you can actually search for something. So say maybe you're looking for a Sony XBR, just type in what you know. It'll bring back everything that's related. You can then click on the location you want to put it in to expand it, grab the product, drag and drop it to the system, which in this case is televisions. You can add accessories to a product. So for instance, this television has an arm mount and a fixed mount to it, and you can determine which one you want. So say I want the fixed, I can just turn off the arm. And in this case, it'll only add the television and the fixed mount to the proposal. Also, when you're setting up the product and in the settings, you're going to create all your different labor phases that you use, like pre-wire, trim, final, and you're going to put all your different hourly rates to those, because then you're going to assign a labor phase and how many hours it takes to install this product. So when you're bringing the product over, it's actually bringing over the labor phase and labor hours with it also. Another option to bring product in is if you have a subscription to Portal, you can go to the cog and go to Portal, and you can actually search Portal's database. So you can type in, maybe you're looking for a Crestron and you know it's a DM piece. Type in what you know. It'll reach out to Portal's database, bring back everything that's related to that. You can then click on the product. It'll bring over the product image, the manufacturer, the model, the description, and the pricing. And you can add to queue, and you can see in the background here how it added it to the queue. And you can sit there and add as many items to the queue as you wish. When you're done, you can sit here and close out of it. And now I can add that product to the proposal. So maybe I want that in the equipment closet and then under control system. The first time you bring a product over from Portal, you will get this yellow warning. What this is telling you is that there's no labor phase or labor hours associated with this product yet. But that's not a big deal. Just click on the manufacturer and go to the labor and select the labor phase. So maybe this is final. And then for how many hours, let's just say it's an hour. And then I can hit the little global button down here. It'll save it to the local database, and it's ready to use for the next person the next time. And then another option is you can build packages. So if you have your favorite surround sound system or conference room that you use all the time, you can just build it once, grab it, drag and drop it over to the location and system you want it in. It brings everything in that package into the proposal. So in this case, I built that surround sound system that quickly. I can drag and drop the order I want product to appear on the proposal. If I didn't need something, I could go to the cog right here and go to the delete and just remove it from this proposal. Another feature we have is called cloning. So let's say, for instance, you need these Sonance VP82s in multiple locations in this proposal. You can go to the cog right here and go to clone, and then you can select the system, which is audio video, and then you can select the other locations you want to clone those to and hit OK. And now I just clone those speakers to those other locations. So another quick, easy way to speed up building your proposal. But now let's say we're done adding product to the proposal and I want to generate the final proposal for the customer. Just simply go to the cog right here and go to generate proposal. You can filter the proposal by category, by location, by manufacturer, or by system. We also have a bunch of advanced options. Like, do you want to show product images? Do you want to show line item pricing? Do you want to break labor out by phase? Whatever you want, you can select that and save it. Here are those systems that we were talking about earlier. So like I mentioned, this is a filter. So how this works is, let's say, for instance, you only wanted to show the customer the items under control system. You could turn off audio, video, and televisions, or any kind of combination of these to filter your proposal for the customer. You can create your own color scheme to match your brand. You can upload as many different cover images as you'd like and select the one that best applies. And then you could either download a printable version, or we do have an email feature that you can email a link to the customer. When they click on the link, it opens the proposal for them, has the color scheme that you selected, the client information, the cover image you selected, your company logo and information. Here's that scope of work we selected. And in this case, I decided to break everything out by location with product images and line item pricing. So I have all that here. Here are those speakers that I cloned earlier. I broke labor out by phase. Here's that pricing rule for miscellaneous parts that I created earlier. Here's the total. Here's the payment schedule I selected, and it did all the math for me. Here's the contract. And then the client's got two options down here. They can request revisions where a box pops up and they can type in any kind of changes they want. Or if everything looks good, they can do an electronic signature in the signature box, hit approved. It'll send you a notification, but then also inside the software here, under revisions, you can see the date and time that was approved. So now that that proposal was approved and it's a real deal, we can actually create a project for it. And you can do that right from the proposal here. So in the proposal, if you just go back to the cog right here and go to create project, it'll pull all that information over into our project management tool. If you do need to edit anything, you can do so right from here. If not, you can select who the project manager is. You can select the status, like is it something that's going on this week? Is it a couple weeks out? Is it in progress? And you can custom name those statuses, whatever you want. You can also create categories. A category can be anything. It could be builders that you work with, developments you're working on, businesses you're working on, whatever makes the most sense for your business. And then once you hit OK, this will alert the project manager that they have a new project that they're in charge of, and it's going to ask them to push the proposal over along with the labor phase and labor hours. And it creates what we call a project details page right here, which is the dashboard for the life of this project. And I'm going to walk you through all this. So first off, think of a project as a location and not necessarily a client. There's a client associated to a project, but if you actually looked at a flow chart of how our industry works, you'd have the client on top, and then underneath the client, you would see the various projects they have going on. It could be multiple homes that they have. It could be a business with multiple locations, whatever it may be. And that's exactly how the software is designed. You can associate as many proposals to a project as necessary. So in this example, I'm showing the main proposal and then the change orders underneath it. From here, the project managers and technicians can click to open the proposals. And when they open the proposals, they can see everything except for pricing. We don't allow them to see the pricing of the proposal, but we allow them to filter the proposal by location, by phase, by brand, by model, and by system. And then also from here, your project managers are the people that know when they need product to either be ordered or allocated. So from this location, they can highlight all the product they need to either be ordered or allocated, and then go to the cog here and go to add to product request. It'll update the status to requested. And then in our inventory system on the product request page, it'll sort all the product that's needed to either be ordered or allocated by project for your inventory manager. And we'll go into that and show you that product request page a little later on. Also, when you push the proposal over, it pushed over all the labor phases and labor hours into our time tracking module. So you can actually track time against what was bid versus actual. And you can see instantly if a phase is going over budget because it'll turn red, because this is a live view. And this is the area that's always the most important, that we actually track this live, because this is the area we have to know if we're bidding properly. We pretty much know what we're making on the equipment. It's always the labor that we're uncertain of, so that we're bidding properly. Over here, you can see all the work orders that have ever been created for the life of this project. And we have two types of work orders in our system, and you can filter by both of them. The first option are project work orders, which are the work orders created during the build of the project. And then we have service work orders, which are the service calls after the fact. You can click to open any one of these work orders to see the detail, and we'll get more into work orders in a little bit because they do a lot. Over here, we allow you to create custom checklists. This is a really important feature. I used these in my own integration software for many years, even before I developed ProjX360. There's certain templated things like for pre-wires and trims and finals that you need the technicians to do all the time. That's just kind of generic. You can create that checklist one time and you can select what checklists apply to what project here. You can see what's been completed and what hasn't been, and people can check things off as they do finish, and it does stamp who checked it off and when, and updates the percentage of completion of that checklist. This is just to make sure that they're not forgetting all the little details to make sure the project and the different phases are going smoothly. Over here, we have a feature called discussions. So we allow you to create discussions about the project right inside the project. To create a new discussion, you simply hit the plus symbol, you'll give it a title, you'll describe it, and then you can select who needs to partake in this discussion. They'll all get a notification with a link to the discussion that they can click on and go into the discussion and reply to it, and it stamps who replied and when, so you have a record of it and a nice threaded conversation. So instead of having a bunch of random emails and text messages scattered everywhere, you have nice threaded conversations about this project that live right inside the project for your records. Over here, you can create one-off tasks. So the majority of your tasks for your technicians and everything are going to be done inside of work orders that we're going to cover in a couple minutes. But there's always a need to create a one-off task. An example of that would be to create a task for your office manager to invoice for the deposit. When you create a new task in our system, you'll give it a title, you'll assign it, you'll describe it, and you'll give it a due date. They'll get notified that a new task was created for them. And then also in our notification system, you can get notified anytime the status changes of one of those tasks. We also have cloud storage, so you can upload any documents relative to this project. So for instance, floor plans and engineering, pre-wire photos, system programs, whatever is necessary. You can create folders to keep everything nicely organized. But again, the whole object of the software is to keep everything in one location so everybody knows where it is and can access it anytime, any place, anywhere. And then over here, we can see all the invoices ever created for this project. And there's two types of invoices in our system. We have those progress invoices that we can do from payment schedules that we talked about in the proposal piece. But then we can also create service invoices from service work orders that I'm going to show you in a couple minutes. Over here, we're tied to Google Maps so you can see where the project is. Also, as this project ages and goes into service mode, you can create service repair tickets for a product that needs to go in for service, and then way you have a record of all the product that's ever gone in for repair for the life of this project. We have a notes section so you can add notes. And then over here, you can see any open purchase orders related to this project. Another feature we have is if you go to the cog here and go to forms, is we allow you to create different kinds of custom forms. You can create as many different kinds of custom forms as you want. For instance, you could have a network form that houses all the client's network information, their SSID, their different access points. You could have a different system design form that when you click on the processor, you can see the different COM ports, what's in the different relays, how the audio distribution's laid out, how the video distribution's laid out. Whatever you want, you can create as many different kinds of custom forms as you wish. And then when you're creating the project, it'll ask you what forms and what checklists would you like to associate to this particular project. Then also, if you're using our inventory system, if you go to the cog here and go to installed products, this will generate a live report of any product that's ever been installed for the life of this project. And it shows you how the product was delivered, either via work order or invoice, the quantity, the product, the cost of the product, the serial number, if it's a serial track device, who installed it, and when. So very useful information for RMAs and everything like that. Going into work orders, so we created a nice work order dashboard for your project managers to make their life a lot easier. So from this one location, they can create a work order for any project and any employee. And then they can filter the work orders by the different statuses work orders have, which are not scheduled, scheduled, in progress, completed, invoiced, canceled, or archived. When you go into a work order, you can see what type of work order it is. Is it a project or service work order? You can put a name to a work order. You can put hours to a work order because we have a clock in button right here. When the technicians hit the clock in button, they already knows what project and work order they're on. All they have to do is grab the phase they're working on and hit start time. And now they're tracking time against the project, the work order, and the phase, and they have a live running clock right here. Over here, you can see who's all scheduled and for when for this work order. And you can schedule as many people to a work order and a work order for as many days as you like. There is no limitation like there are in some platforms. And I'll get more into scheduling in a couple minutes. But now to add tasks of what the technicians need to do, we can do that a variety of different ways. If we go to the blue cog right here and go to add line item, the first option is if there's a proposal involved. You can go to proposal, find the proposal piece. It pulls the proposal up in front of you by location. You can then check the box next to the items you want to add to the work order and then go add to work order. It adds the product, but also it adds the location so the technicians know where the work needs to be done, along with the labor phase and labor hours that were associated to it from the proposal for accurate time tracking. Another option is you can search your local product database. So if you're looking for a certain product, you can search for it and select it. It'll pull up a product image and a description. You can even add a labor phase to this if you want and how many hours you think it should take them to install and hit OK. And now it brought that product into the work order along with the labor phase and hours you just set. Another option are those custom checklists you built. So you can search your checklist library and bring one of those in. Or if this is a service call, you just need to type in what they need to do, just go to general item and you can type in what you need the technicians to do. And then you can even select the labor phase if you wish and put how long this task should take them and hit add to work order. And now it added that line item to the work order. And then also, if you're using our inventory system, you can associate transfers to a work order or bring things in from your various warehouses you set up. So lots of different options there. Also in our work orders, you can add notes by line item. So if there's some special instructions you need to relay to your technicians, you can type it in here. Or if the technicians were having an issue in the field, they could type notes. And it shows that there's a note on that line item. And also in our notification system, you can be notified when there's a note. And if the technicians were having an issue, they could even take a photo of what's going on and select what they want on that. Oh, let me pick an image and upload it. And it uploads that image and it shows that there's an attachment to that line item. They can then check things off on the work order as they finish so you know what's been completed and what hasn't been. And just like the other checklist, it does stamp who checked it off and when for accountability. But let's say this was a service work order and a product needed to go in for repair. From the work order here, you can create a service repair ticket. Just go to the cog and go to add repair item. You can put in the RMA number, the tracking number, the date you're shipping it out, and then you can set a reminder for one of these time frames that if you don't get it back, it'll send you a notification to follow up with that manufacturer so things don't fall through the cracks. To clock out of the work order, just simply hit the clock out button and hit stop time, and that'll clock you out of the work order. Also on our work orders, we allow electronic signatures on those. And then if this was a service work order and you wanted to create an invoice for this service call, you can do so right from the work order. Just go to the blue cog here, go to create new invoice. It'll pull all that information, all the client information into the invoicing tool. We have your company logo and information right here. And then there's a little clock right here. If you click that, It'll show you all the unbilled hours for that work order. All you have to do is just check the box here and hit OK. And it'll add that labor to the invoice, and it knows for final labor, you set it up at $85 an hour, and it did all the math for you. Then if there's any other items you need to add to the invoice, just simply go to the cog right here and go to add line item. And we give you lots of different options. The first one is from that work order. So you can bring different lines in from that work order that you wish, and as many of them as you want, and hit OK. And it'll bring in the pricing and the labor with that. Also, you can bring things in from your product database. You could manually type product in or manually type in labor. Or if you're using inventory, you can bring things in from your various warehouses. So lots of different options there. When you're done adding items, you can go and select the tax rate that applies to this invoice. We allow electronic signatures on invoices. And then we're integrated with QuickBooks, both desktop and online, where you can sync this invoice over to QuickBooks and receive payment just like you normally do. Going into scheduling, when we go into our calendar, you can see a list of all your employees right here. You can click on any one of them to see what their utilization is for the week. Also, off to the left here, you have all your unscheduled service and project work orders, so they don't fall through the cracks. And you can view the calendar by month, by week, by day, or by list. And then also, we have some filtering. If you go to the cog here, and if you have a dedicated service department and just want to see your service calendar, just click on service, and it'll just show you the service calendar and the unscheduled service work orders. Same thing with production. If you go to the project work order schedule, and you can see that and the unscheduled project work orders. To schedule one of these work orders, just simply grab it, drag and drop it to the day and time you want it to start. It loads that day and time in there for you automatically. You can select a color code if you wish. You can schedule individuals, or you can actually create teams and schedule teams if you wish. When you're done, you can just close out and it'll load that event into the calendar. Once it's done loading the event into the calendar, if you do need to make this longer, you can just drag and drop it longer. You can drag and drop it to different days, and it automatically updates for you. And then we even have some more advanced filtering. If you go to the cog here and go to filter by, you can filter by employees, projects, and date also. Going into time tracking, when you go to enter time, so we talked about time tracking against a work order, but as you know, we don't always have a work order involved. So you can go to this enter time section and just grab the project you're working on and the phase you're working on and hit start time. And now you're tracking time against the project and the phase. And then we have this currently clocked in view where you can see a list of all your employees that are currently clocked in, the project they're clocked into, the phase, the date and time they clocked in, and a live running clock right here. And if you do need to clock them out, you can do so right from here. For service, you can filter your service projects by what's in and out of warranty. And then going into inventory. So in our inventory system, we allow you to create as many different warehouses as you'd like. And as you can see on this example, we have a main warehouse and then each vehicle as a warehouse. When you click to go into a warehouse, we generate a live dashboard of the status of that warehouse for you. And on that dashboard, you can see the total number of products in the warehouse. When you're setting up product, you can set a minimum and a maximum of what you want on hand, and also a warning of when you want to be notified to reorder that product. And here you're seeing the product that's in warning or low stock mode, and it's clickable to see the details of that. You have the cost value of the warehouse and the retail value of the warehouse. We can see the last time we did a cycle count, and if there was an adjustment on that cycle count. We can see any incoming and outgoing transfers. Over here, we can see all your open purchase orders, and then you can filter them by what's in draft mode, what's been sent to the supplier, what's been partially shipped, what's been shipped, what's been received, and what's been archived. Remember earlier though, when the project manager was requesting product to be ordered or allocated, it went to this product request page here in inventory for your inventory manager. And like I mentioned, it sorts everything that's needed to be ordered or allocated by project here. And you could even use the search bar to narrow down to a specific project. What this tells you, you can see the product that's been requested. You can see what, if any, you have on hand, how many have been requested, if it's been sent to the PO queue to get ordered yet, if it has been ordered yet, and then if it's been allocated and what's still needed. So like in this example with the Sony television, I have 6 on hand and I only need 1. So nothing in this case needs to be ordered. I just need to allocate one of the 6 I have to this particular project. Basically, we're virtually staging. So to do that, just click on it, go to the allocation page, and then because this is a serial track device, it breaks all the individual serial numbers out for you. You can select which one you want to allocate to this particular project to make sure you're allocating the older product. And now it updated this Sony television. It reduced the on hand down to 5, even though you physically have 6. Again, like I'm saying, what I said is you're virtually staging here. And then it put all the way over here that we have 1 of 1 and put a little check mark here saying, hey, I'm good to go. I got everything on this line item for this project I need. So in the scenario that we don't have any on hand from this page, you can highlight it and you can either add it to the PO queue, which is a big depository where everything gets sent that needs a PO created for it. So you can create one massive PO for like Crestron or Integra or Control 4, whatever from there, or you can actually create a PO right from here. So lots of different options. So about a week before this project is due to go out, your project manager and inventory manager are going to want to be seeing check marks on all these line items right here. And then the morning of the install, they're going to go to the cog here and go to fulfill request, which basically this is creating a transfer. And they're going to create a transfer to the vehicle warehouse that's taking the product out to the site. The technician that's in charge of that vehicle warehouse will get a notification on their warehouse dashboard of an incoming transfer. They can click and open it. It'll have a list of all the product along with serial numbers and quantities. They're going to verify that's the product they have and accept the transfer. And then if you recall, in our work orders, you can associate a transfer to a work order. So if you associated the transfer to a work order, you can go back into that work order and it'll populate all the product from that transfer into the work order. So when the technicians check items off on the work order that they installed it, it delivers it to the customer. Another scenario that happens though in our industry all the time is, let's say this project got delayed, and let's pretend I didn't have any more of these Crestron these Sony televisions, and I need it for another project. I can come in here and deallocate it from this project. So I go back into the allocation and deallocate it, close it out. It now updates that Sony television back to 6 on hand, and it updated that I need one now again for this project so I don't forget about it. And I can go now into this other project and allocate it. Also on our inventory system, you can see all the product you have on across all your houses. And by line item, you can see by product what warehouses that's in and where in those warehouses. You can see all the product you've ever installed. And then you could use the search feature to filter it down, or we have filters up here to filter it. And then we also have a product aging report to make sure we're cycling our old inventory so things don't go out of warranty while sitting in your warehouse. So if I wanted to see everything that come in before January 1st, I can select that date and it'll calculate all the product that's come in before January 1st. And then finally, we have a very detailed reporting system. If you go reporting and go to custom reporting and go to report builder, you can build a report for any section of the software. When you select the section, you can then determine what fields you want in that report. And then down below are all the filters. So depending on what kind of report you're trying to build, you can apply the filters accordingly. And then you can go get report. It'll generate the report. The report is exportable to CSV or Excel, or you can save it to your saved reports. And then we can also do the same thing for charts, where you can build different types of charts, select the chart you want, apply the filters, and hit draw chart, and it draws the chart for you, and you can save that to your favorites. And that is a 30,000 foot view of the workflow of ProjX360 and how we can, help manage your processes and streamline your business practices in it. So I'm going to turn it over to Amy to open it up for questions for anybody. So if anybody has any questions, they can type them in and Amy will field them.
Okay, no questions yet. We'll give it a minute here or so.
Okay. Yeah, we can give it a minute and see if anybody has any questions. Any questions for anybody?
Yep, they're just coming in now. Can you import proposals from DTools?
Yes, you can. So we do have an integration with DTools. So how that integration with DTools works is you can start tracking your sales opportunities in our system. So if you remember back in our sales CRM, and we go back into that client and then go back into that deal, which is the opportunity. When you're ready to generate the proposal, you can select DTools. It'll push all the client's information up into DTools for you, so you don't have to re-enter it. You'll create your proposal in DTools just like you normally do. Once that proposal's accepted, there's an export button inside of DTools. You'll export it, come back to our system, go to integrations, and go to DTools here. You'll see all the proposals you've exported out of DTools sitting here. You can select it and go to pull down, and then it pulls it into our proposal tool, and I'll show you what it looks like. And it pulls everything over from DTools. So this is what it looks like. You can, has the address, it'll pull in the scope of work, it'll pull in the manufacturer, the model, the pricing, the cost, the location, the system, and all the labor phase and labor hours with that also. Any other questions?
Do we support different currencies?
We do. So the different currencies that we support, let me just go to settings right here. So for currencies, these are the different currencies we do with like Australia, Canada, Britain, Hong Kong, Ireland, New Zealand, the Philippines, Singapore, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Germany. Those are the currencies we currently support right now.
Do we integrate with G Suite for contacts and calendar, and integrate with Slack for discussions, or integrate with some task list app for task?
No, we don't do, we do an iCal push for the calendar for any calendar that has an iCal capability. And one thing I'll tell you with G Suite that we've discovered with Google Calendar, you have no control of when that iCal is refreshed. So it doesn't work the best with Google because they don't refresh their iCal very often. But for like Outlook, Apple, anything with an auto refresh that you can control works great. We don't integrate with Slack because if you recall, we have our own discussions right inside the project. So ours keeps things a little more organized. So you can create a discussion about this project, like I mentioned, where you can give it a title, describe it, and select everybody in your organization that needs to partake in it. And they'll get a link and a notification of the discussion, and they can reply to it. And now you have a nice threaded conversation inside the project instead of inside of Slack. And then also for tasks on that one, we have our own task management system.
Okay, where is our company's data stored? Is it hosted or on our proprietary servers?
We're fully cloud-based, so it's hosted in our data center that we belong to, and we work with Amazon, so they're the most secured servers in the world. And you can export a lot of your data at any time. So like all your client database and everything like that, if you go to your client table, and I'll clear out my search here. All this is exportable to CSV or Excel or printable or whatever you want.
And that's all the questions.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody taking their time to come to our webinar. If you would like to learn more about ProjX360 and maybe schedule a one-on-one demo, you can do so by contacting Doug at ProjX360 or calling our 800 number at 844-688-5584. And we look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you again. And all the questions have been answered, Amy?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thanks again, everybody, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.